In Bentonville, Arkansas, the hometown of Walmart, a trial is about to begin over the mysterious death of a former police officer at a local residence. But vital information in the case may have been recorded by an Amazon Echo, and the case may help decide an issue emerging in a connected world, whether prosecutors should be able to subpoena a virtual assistant.
Well, the details basically are this, that on the day of November the 21st of 2015, the Razorbacks played Mississippi State.
Here's the kickoff.
And the defendant in this case, Mr. James Bates, had a couple of friends over to his home to watch the game, and after the game was over, the evidence is that they had all had a good time that night. They had been drinking and hanging out. And at about 9:30 a.m., James Bates called 911 reporting that a work associate of his, Victor Collins, was found dead in James Bates's hot tub. And so the investigation progressed, and as a result of that investigation, Mr. Bates was arrested for murder.
Bates has pled not guilty. Kimberly Weber, a member of his defense team, was keen to point out that the police have not mentioned a motive or any DNA evidence linking Bates to the crime.
I would call this case less than circumstantial, and that makes it a pretty weak case. I hadn't seen a case that is so light on evidence.
Smith admits it's a difficult case. And a few days after the initial crime scene examination, investigators went back to Bates's home with a new and unexpected line of inquiry.
One of the detectives in the case found an Amazon Echo, and that was among the items that we obtained a search warrant for.
So why did you think there might be, important evidence in Amazon servers?
We have a device that could have been activated and could have recorded something that night. It could have recorded portions of the crime itself. We don't know that. The mere fact that this is a device, as I understanding, that is always listening and sometimes recording, depending on if it has been given the proper voice command by someone, it's certainly relevant to know what's on there.
It's not totally clear what the Echo does record and when. Amazon's programmed Alexa to respond to a question on the topic.
I only send audio back to Amazon when I hear you say the wake word.
In an email, the company said that the Echo is sending audio to its servers only when the blue light is on, and that users can check and delete any recordings it makes. One research firm estimates that Amazon has sold about 5 million Echoes, and Alexa was the hit of this year's Consumer Electronics Show. It was baked into speakers, robots, and a fridge, among other things. Weber thinks there's a bigger principle at stake here.
It's always on. It's not always recording, it's always on. But those inadvertent recordings, I think, could be misconstrued and taken out of context. You're in your home. What you say in your home is different than what you put out on the internet.
So if a client came to you and he was under investigation by the police and he was about to get online and order an Amazon Echo, what would you say to that client?
I would probably tell him at that juncture in his life he needed to wait until the criminal allegations were resolved.
I think that we live in an increasingly technologically dependent world, and I think people, whether they're carrying cell phones, whether they're carrying, have computers in their home or smart TVs or whatever the case may be, again, that's going to be where the law heads to conduct searches, because so much of our lives are on those devices. So
you don't think there's any area technologically that the police should not be allowed to go?
If we say in the United States that there is no basis ever for law enforcement to obtain a search warrant to search a technological device, then we're essentially creating a police-free zone. We're creating a zone to tell criminals, this is where you go if you never want to be found out.
Smith filed his search warrant a year ago. But Amazon, which would not comment on this specific case, has not yet provided him with all the data he's asking for. It seems likely the two sides will meet in court. Smith says the case will probably come to a head in the coming weeks as the first hearing in the trial approaches.